Welcome to Medica Nova Wellness Studio. I'm Dr. Angelika Maria Koch with the educational videos about optimal health and the most innovative and holistic approach to your well-being. Welcome everybody. As you may have noticed, I haven't posted a video over the last 6 weeks, and the reason was I finally got the sea flu quite intensely and still have a croaky voice and some cough, but I'm much better. So let's focus on something much more positive and let's enjoy the inspirational, educational videos throughout this year. For this month, let's focus on how to manage and heal premenstrual syndrome with natural and effective therapeutic tools. Did you know that the average woman experiences about 450 periods throughout her lifetime? And that is a lot. Now, more than 75% of women today deal with some kind of form of PMS, either before or during the menstruation. And so it's clear that a lot of women are experiencing these uncomfortable side effects of quite a natural biological process, but it doesn't have to be. In this video, I share with you useful tips how to meet your monthly cycles with ease. Enjoy this video. To stay updated with my ongoing videos, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel, share and like it with your friends and families, and don't forget to click that bell as it notifies you every time I upload a new video. And thank you so much for your thumbs ups and your likes as they help the growth of my channel. And lastly, have a look at my website, medicanova.net, at the online academy, where you will find certified comprehensive home study online courses in homeopathy for the whole family, homeopathy applied during pregnancy, birth, postnatal care, mental health, health coaching, quantum healing, and so much more. And if quitting smoking is one of your new ideas, Medica Nova just launched the 3 months holistic smoking cessation program. So if you want to know more about it, contact me at health@medicanova.net. So what is premenstrual syndrome? Well, PMS for short is one of the most common forms of hormonal imbalance of women of childbearing age, resulting actually both in psychological as well as physical symptoms. Hormone balance, of course, is here the primary factor that will determine the PMS symptoms that someone experiences. So PMS symptoms usually start 7 to 10 days before the menstrual flow begins and ends shortly thereafter. There's another condition which is called PMDD, which is premenstrual dysphoric disorder, and is a term used to describe more severe PMS symptoms. So the condition follows the same kind of cycle and range of symptoms, but produces more debilitating outcome. And in this video, I only want to focus on PMS symptoms. So in teenagers, we see the outburst of more acne, skin eruptions. A lot of women talk about back pain. It maybe is related to your disturbed digestive system, right? A lot of women experience constipation, which often them, aggravate the lower back pain even more so. General feeling bloated, the abdomen is full, maybe changes in appetite, you have maybe certain cravings. I have a patient who talks about she has this ravenous hunger before her period. She becomes a really gluttony person. Irritable bowel syndrome, right? Alternating between diarrhea and constipation. And then, of course, we have the emotional and mental aspects. Some women talk about they feel very sensitive, very overwhelmed during this time and cry all the time, or anything makes them cry. Others experience mood swings, right? Highs and lows. There may be chronic depression or anxiety may be aggravated during the time or the period in itself, or these PMS symptoms create depression or anxiety. feeling irritable, tense or anxious, wanting to be alone. And so here in this video, I share with you targeted homeopathic remedy, which are not just a sort of one-size-fits-all pill, but really, funnel into the, are you more depressed? Do you experience more mood changes, right? Do you want to be alone? What's really going on with you? Some women talk about trouble concentrating, the brain fog. Others have physical symptoms like the heartbeat. A lot of women talk about headache before the period, feeling tired. If you are in the premenopausal phase, you maybe experience already the hot flushes. Others have joint pains, the fibromyalgia gets worse. Definitely low libido, the sexual drive goes down. I see a lot of women with tender and swollen breasts before the period. Trouble sleeping, you maybe have more insomnia. Swollen hands and feet, look at your thyroid condition here. And weight gain, right? The water retention comes up. But most of these symptoms usually disappear following the start of the menstrual flow. Now, apart from the symptoms which are caused by these hormonal changes, have a look at your underlying causes. The medical references, of course, inform us that PMS is related to fluctuating hormone levels, which include estrogen and progesterone that occur in preparation for the menstruation. But there, as I said, there may be underlying conditions in the first place. In general, hormonal changes or imbalances, maybe some chemical imbalances in the brain. A lot of women are sort of low in vitamins or mineral levels. Stress, what's going on in your life? Do you have emotional upheavals? What's going on in your marriage, with your spouse, in your work environment, with your children? Maybe you experience financial worries right now in this economic crisis. Depression, anxiety is quite common, I mentioned. I also want to encourage you to have a thyroid test. Check if you are hypothyroid or hyperthyroid. If you live in an environment where you're exposed to a lot of toxins, for example heavy metals, that could be part of it. In this case, you would need, of course, a health care practitioner who maybe offers you some beneficial treatment protocols here. I really want to stress diet. Yeah, we talk about diet, but here it really makes a difference. Consuming alcohol and caffeine, as well as eating too much salty food because it just adds in the water retention, all play a part here. Obesity in general, as well as lack of exercise. So, look at the big picture here. Most of the time, conventional medicine will offer you non-steroidal anti-inflammatory drugs like ibuprofen or Motrin. And yes, they achieve sort of, we call it symptomatic pain relief. But if you take them over time, they also have side effects. And in this case, they really act on your digestive system a lot. You maybe experience stomach cramps, irritation of your stomach and your intestines. Your sleeping patterns may be interrupted, as well as the thickness of lung secretions is quite prominent here. If you are interested in a health consultation, either for yourself and or your children, contact me at Medica Nova at health@medicanova.net. Medica Nova is my practice for integrated and educational medicine. We offer a unique blend of natural and cutting-edge therapeutic tools from homeopathy, iridology, sclerology, systemic herbology, advanced biofeedback, and health and wellness coaching, and so much more. Book your appointment today. Let's move on to the second part of this video, the food for thought or the metaphysical meaning. As I already mentioned in this video, there's much more to it than the hormonal changes. When a woman on a regular basis experience PMS syndrome, there's also the lifestyle factor involved, or her perspective to life, especially if the woman has, for example, a high position in her work environment. She's juggling with kids at home, being the mother, and yet being the breadwinner, or being a very successful employee, or even running her own business. So let's take a deeper look at the holistic perspective of premenstrual syndrome. So next to, as I said, the physical hormonal changes, could there be a mental or emotional factor influencing or aggravating the monthly menstruation cycle? In this case, I always refer to Chuck Martell's references, and he says premenstrual syndrome appears during the period, during the preceding the menstruation. It takes the form of nervousness, pains in the back, maybe the head, the stomach, and mood swings. And the hormonal imbalance causes physical changes that mimic a state of pregnancy. That's interesting. Water retention causing weight gain, swelling of the breast, and so on. So here we have the first clue. You're in a different state than at other times of your months, and in this case, even almost as if you're pregnant. So it is a process of rejection and guilt that is beginning to surface during this time. For a woman, the menstrual period is a reminder that she is living in a world dominated by men. And here I want to just be very careful with my words. I'm not saying the world is all bad, because of men, or, I'm a feminist fighting for my rights. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying that during this time, the woman becomes more aware that she's not allowed to be the woman. I must prove, therefore, that I'm strong and a radiant woman, and at the same time, I really would like so much to not to have to work and prove my worth. I may be tired of being submissive when I would rather be able to dominate and control as many men can. Of course, that's not the best approach, but you see where Chuck Martell is coming from. It thus indicates how the premenstrual syndrome brings about situations that make me ask myself questions about how I perceive myself as a woman in relation to my femininity, especially if I want to succeed in a professional career. And I think that's really where I see the premenstrual symptoms rising more to the surface the most. In women who are very actively involved in the work life, as well as being a mother. I may be troubled and confused and allow myself to be influenced by the stereotypes imposed by society. I find society's rules very painful, therefore. And what role do I want to play here? Can I allow myself to lead an active life and also allow myself moments of relaxation and pleasure? So what would be the positive affirmation here? Well, first of all, you accept yourself, right? As a woman. I love myself as I am and I allow room for development. But on that note, I really want to share with you, for example, in Japan, in South Korea, Taiwan, Indonesia, and even Zambia, all have some form of menstrual leave within their employment framework. It doesn't mean that the women get financially covered, but at least they acknowledge that this is a time or a period in a woman's life that where they need a little bit more, downtime. They need a little bit more space to be themselves in the first place. I'm not saying that they cannot attend to their work schedule, but just acknowledge that this is a very delicate time for the woman. However, in a European first, actually Spain is proposing to pass a new law offering menstrual leave as part of a wider set of proposals around reproductive health. And I think that's one step in the right direction. For US workers here, only a handful of companies in America currently offer the benefit. And as you can see, more has to be done here. As a natural health care practitioner, I do believe if the woman would gain the acknowledgement or receive a kind of feeling of honoring this special time during her life, the PMS symptoms won't be as strong. It goes hand in hand, right? The environment, shapes the behavior of the cells. It's a biological process. And if the woman experiences more support here, she will be able to deal with premenstrual symptoms much better. If you want to explore more about yourself, your wellness vision, what motivates you, and how to apply your strengths qualities in achieving the very best of you, then contact Medica Nova Wellness Coaching at health@medicanova.net for your 3 months coaching program. I am coaching you to be well. Let's move on to the natural treatments. I mentioned diet plays a big deal here. And often people say, well, not really, it's a hormonal imbalance. So what does diet have to do here? But it has. Because most women who experience PMS symptoms are actually typically not getting enough calcium, for example, or deficient in the vitamin B complex, in particular in B6 vitamin, or lacking vitamin K and E, which are the prime ingredients also for your thyroid health. Magnesium deficiency plays a big role here when you experience a lot of cramps. So start introducing plant-based diets, high in fiber foods, and bring in maybe your wheat germ, your flaxseed, your omega-3 oils, leafy green vegetables, lots of avocados, good oils. And, that is already a first step towards your healing. Foods that trigger PMS, well, most processed foods, of course, but look for labels where you see hydrogenated or partially hydrogenated fats, even if they say 0% trans fats on the nutritional profile, really dig deeper here. Do you have food allergies? Stay away from high fructose, corn syrup, or refined sugar, because that adds to the fluctuation of their blood sugar, and that may exacerbate the mood swings, definitely the headaches before the menstruation, difficulty, concentration, brain fog. It all has to do with your blood sugar imbalance. We talked about excess salt because it just adds to the water retention. Needless to say, caffeine, maybe adds more to your underlying depression, your anxiety, and absolutely to your breast tenderness. You maybe have noticed that if you have a glass of wine, the next day you have breast tenderness, and specifically with coffee and excess black tea. Alcohol consumption, definitely increases the risk for prolonged cramping. We call it dysmenorrhea. And we all can calm this down just by taking care of ourselves with the diet. But with PMS, I feel you need more than just, bringing in a little bit of avocado or omega-3. You need supplements, natural supplements, and homeopathic remedies, because you want to really create a long-lasting treatment protocol here. So here I would suggest Vitex or chasteberry, and 240 milligrams daily would be good because it helps to balance the estrogen and the progesterone ratios. You can get the supplements online or in your health food store. My favorite is always ashwagandha. It's an Ayurvedic herb as well as holy basil. It's called tulsi. We call them adaptogenic herbs because they calm down, reduce the cortisol, which is a hormone which comes up when your adrenals are stressed, worry, when you're under this fight and flight experience of life. It balances the hormone and therefore reduces the PMS symptoms. We talked about vitamin B complex and vitamin B6. I would say 100 milligram daily would be great because it's involved in the estrogen metabolism. Others suggest indole 3-carbinol 300 milligram daily because it helps the liver to metabolize the estrogen. The liver is a big part here in your hormone regulation. I personally love evening Primrose Oil capsules because they help with the breast tenderness and the aches. If you experience a lot of cramping and dysmenorrhea and pain, bringing magnesium on a daily basis, often 250 milligrams twice, or if you get a product with 400 milligrams, definitely once a day. It's again helpful in the metabolism of your estrogen and can help relieve the cramping. Others maybe suggest a progesterone cream, which I actually want to stay away with it because if you have a good oil, progesterone's oil, which include vitamin E, K, D, and all of that, I think you should be fine. Sometimes it takes a lot of fine tuning with the progesterone cream to get it right. So, and as this is more of a self-help video, let's make it easy first. But it's always a good idea to make sure that your PMS symptoms are in fact due to the PMS and they are not caused by your ongoing depression or anxiety already, right? You really have to differentiate here. Also, hey, you may be pregnant and you might not know it, so check that out, right? Because that, of course, changes your hormonal status. Let's move on to homeopathic remedies. As I said, the combo with natural supplements, homeopathic remedies, changing your perspective to life, right? Your work environment, your relationship towards a woman, your femininity. I think you can do a lot and you can change this up and down, scale before the period starts. Homeopathy offers an effective treatment for PMS with no side effects. They're made from natural substances, but also ensure that the woman get relief from the symptoms of PMS and that the woman do not have to endure a premenstrual phase that upsets the whole mental and physical makeup. So the top natural remedies today, what we're talking about, are sepia, ignatia, pulsatilla, lachesis, conium, melilotus, just simple remedies. You do have access to these remedies either at your local health food store or online. But for more in-depth guidance on how to take these remedies, I encourage you to contact my practice, Medica Nova, at health@medicanova.net. I'm happy to help you and book your appointment. Or, of course, contact your local homeopath. The potencies, or it's the number behind the name, I would choose would be 30C or 200C. It depends on the severity of the affected woman and also the personality. So the idea is that you now go a little bit within and explore what is your specific key symptom or keynote of your PMS. Is it the mood swing? Is it the depression? Is it the feeling oversensitive, so you cry all the time, right? Is it the headache? Is it the backache? So once you have established that, then you want to find a remedy, a homeopathic remedy, which matches exactly that symptom. It's like a matchmaking situation. And then you start taking this remedy at least 4 months, maybe on a daily basis or weekly basis, depending on the potency. It's very effective, and with, as I said, the combo of the supplements and the lifestyle changes, the mind changes, it can be actually quite easy to shift this situation quite fast. The first remedy is called Sepia officinalis, and I put a picture up. It's made from the cuttlefish. And Sepia's keynote is irritability, right? These are the women who say, leave me alone, I'm churning into this beast, I'm edgy, I want to be alone, I don't want to have any intimacy. In fact, I feel sort of a feeling of indifference towards my loved ones. I don't care, right? It's like, the house is a mess, right? I come back from work, nobody helps me, I don't get the support, I'm irritable, right? This is sepia. It's so common, right? So we talk about extreme irritability a few days before the period starts. So not just a little bit, but definitely something has changed. So it calms the mind of the woman, suffering particularly from irritable conditions. A special symptom on a physical aspect would be that they have this bearing down feeling on the uterus. It's almost like as if, the weight comes out between your legs. It's sort of like a dragging down feeling, accompanied with this feeling of so on edge and feeling irritable. It's a great remedy. How do I give it? Sometimes I give Sepia 31 tablet daily for months. Sometimes I do Sepia 200, maybe weekly, wait for 4 weeks and see how that goes, depending on the personality. If the irritability is really heightened, I maybe give a 200C rather than a 30C. If your keynote is depression and mood swings, so not just irritability, but depression and mood swings, meaning from high to low, from sad and depressed emotional state to feeling, you laugh out of the blue, right? This kind of experience. Ignatia amara, fantastic remedy here. As such women decide to be alone, they maybe keep weeping on for long. Women who experience sudden mood swings prior to their menstrual cycle can also benefit by the use of this remedy, Ignatia. As I said, mood swings, we change from joy to sadness, right? Is sort of really the keynote here. Ignatia amara. Others, I mentioned, talk about this increased sensitivity, right? They feel overwhelmed. They can't cope with life and just break out in tears for no reason. The remedy is Pulsatilla nigricans. Again, I put a picture up. It's the windflower. It's a wonderful plant. Here we see the increased sensitivity towards every little thing during PMS. The smallest of things tend to affect the women deeply, and they also start to weep over little insignificant issues. They start to cry in public and usually feel better when they're offered sympathy. They want company. They want the reassurance. They want the boyfriend to give them a cup of tea or the hot water bottle. Fantastic remedy. Also, Pulsatilla is indicated for teenagers who have a delayed or suppressed menses. Usually today, girls get it at 11 o'clock at my time. 11 years, sorry. At my time it was, 13, 14 years you have your first period. But with Pulsatilla it can be 16, 17 years that they experience their first menses. In fact, actually it would help to bring on the menses at the right time. Some women experience more the physical body pains. And here the remedy Lachesis mutus or mutant, comes from the Bushmaster snake. It is an animal remedy. Here they experience various parts of the body in pain. Such women experience pains a few days before the expected date of the periods, mostly headaches. It can be they stand out as the really the prominent symptom here. And the interesting thing with Lacus is, as soon as the blood starts to flow, all these physical symptoms disappear. The cramps, the headache, everything disappears. So not just on this second or third day of your period, but on as soon as the blood starts to flow. That's the key symptom here. They just vanish and they feel all right again. Personality-wise, Lacus is a quite sort of intense personality. They talk a lot. We call it quite loquacious. And because it's a snake remedy, they also have a tendency to be a little bit possessive. Jealousy ranks a lot in their personality. They would definitely make a big scene if the husband divorces and runs off with a much younger lover now. And maybe the perimenopausal or menopausal woman at that time would feel not wanted anymore, but really experience a lot of jealousy. Lacus would cover that aspect too. That's where homeopathy is so great, right? It just covers the totality of the symptoms. I mentioned women who experience breast tenderness before the start of the onset of the menses. Conae maculatum, and here I would say 30C would be a fantastic remedy. Almost the breasts engorge. They swell, they enlarge, and therefore there's a pain in the breast. The pain gets worse on touching, maybe even. Along with pain, the breasts become maybe also a little bit harder. Conaim is a fantastic remedy. I talked about headaches, right? If you talk about physical symptoms, women talk a lot about headaches before the period. And there's another remedy which I like to share with you next to Lacus is called Melilotus. Melilotus officinalis, great help in relieving headaches occurring as part of the premenstrual syndrome. Melilotus can be used when the headache occurs with vomiting even some days before periods. The head feels extremely heavy and full. Again, this symptom disappears as soon as the menstrual flow begins, like Lacus, right? It's like they go hand in hand. Lacus, again, is indicated for headaches before the menses, and the headache may be accompanied by vertigo and dim vision. So with Melilotus, we see more gastroenteritis symptoms like nausea and the vomiting, whereas with Lacus we see more vertigo and dim vision. Again, both remedies feel, or the personality picture is immediately relieved as soon as the blood starts to flow. So homeopathy offers many more indicated remedy for symptoms accompanying PMS. For example, we have Carbovegetalis and China officinalis when you feel like you have this bloated abdomen, right, only, or remedies like Nux vomica, Silicea, maybe Bryonia, if you experience more constipation, right, as your PMS symptom. Remedy Bovista or is useful maybe for the diarrhea, right, in that sense, or Sepia I mentioned officinalis or Natrum muriaticum are great remedies if you're the ones who have acne breakouts. So, as I said, we have to individualize the symptoms here and your individual expression of your PMS. But every woman is unique, expresses, as I said, individual symptoms. Rather than focusing on the physical symptoms only, here holistic and treating the whole body will be much more successful. To book your appointment, contact Medica Nova at health@medicanova.net. I'm stumbling over my words. It's time to finish this video. I hope today's video has inspired you to seek more natural solutions. If you have any questions about the suggested treatment protocol or homeopathic remedies, contact Medica Nova at health@medicanova.net. Have a look at my website, medicanova.net, at the online academy for your certified comprehensive home study online courses. And contact me for your holistic 3-month smoking cessation program. I have lots to offer in 2023. So till next time, much love. Take care.